Welcome back, everybody.
Okay, I've collected myself.
Have
I
we?
think I haven't kicked my
The
phone.
Patreon pre-party went pretty good today. If you
Yeah.
ask
Oh,
me.
y'all need to pay that $10 or $5. That it's worth it for the audio. $10, you get to see me freaking out.
Oh man,
You get to hear some of my family stories.
oh,
It's worth it. Y'all got to do it.
That was something. Tiny said that he had something to talk about in the soft open today for everybody.
do.
Soft opening.
Yes, it's a good soft opening for everybody to get
I'm
involved.
going to softly open things. So I own a motorcycle, and I've been trying to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to tell you that Facebook Marketplace, when you're buying things, is great. When you're selling things, it is an endless cesspool.
Yeah.
The worst thing.
It is the worst thing.
How many people hollered at you for wampum?
So many.
Are you sure you wouldn't take a 1972 Penny?
Look, here's the thing. My motorcycle is not the best motorcycle in the world, okay?
It's a motorcycle.
It is a motorcycle. It is a highly decent motorcycle.
It's a mostly functioning motorcycle.
Yes, it needs a couple of things done to it, and it'll be a great bike for somebody.
So
Who
it's a-
doesn't at that age?
So it's a motorcycle.
Yes, it mainly just needs a battery. But here's the thing. I also put that I was willing to entertain any offer because I'm trying to repair my car, but I don't want to appear desperate.
Well, that appears desperate.
Yeah, I mean, well, I said something like I wanted them to know that I'm willing to negotiate because I don't like seeing things price is firm or I know what I got. So I was like, I put like any reasonable offer will be considered.
I think you were just baiting it. I think
No,
does it
I
sound like he's
wasn't.
baiting it to
Well,
you,
see,
Otto,
here's the-
knowing
I
that
think
Tiny
he
knows
does
the
it-
internet?
I
Well,
think
but
he
here's
does it
the thing.
unconsciously at this point.
Here's the thing.
What kind of shit could I get into today with my side quests?
Well, look, I had it listed originally for $2,200 American dollars. It was a more than fair price, but I'm trying to fix my car, so it's gotten to the point that the money is more important than the motorcycle, so I've dropped the price to $1,500. Now, I kept getting some offers that would just be a number, because instead of saying, "Hey, is that still available? Can I get some more information on it?" It'd be 1,000. And that one individual that said that, I said, if that's $1,002 bills, sold. He never responded. Then I keep getting offers for fucking zero-turn lawnmowers. Why does nobody want a zero-turn mower?
It depends. What are the brands?
One of them was a Bad Boy. That's the only one I remember off the top of my head.
I have heard no good things from Bad Boy.
Yeah, but I don't need one. I rent. And granted, they don't know that I rent an apartment. I understand that. But that's their go-to initially is a zero-turn.
Now, for a place like mine, like a zero turn might be some credit towards your side of the story. Like I might
Yes.
consider what you're
Right.
saying.
Yes.
But at the same time, for somebody to know you're looking for money and to offer you a mower, welcome to Tennessee.
Yes.
You're trying to sell a mower in the middle of winter when spring hasn't started yet.
Yes. Well, my thought was
Preemptive.
good time to sell the bike because people are looking for them now because they're going to go cheaper.
And tax return.
Yes, exactly. So now, if it would have been most of the money that I wanted and like a junky Murray, yes, please, because I want to make a mud mower. But that's another tale for another
That's
day.
a different side.
My neighbors up the road have one of those.
Mud mowers are cool.
They literally took the blade.
The
There we go.
deck?
Yeah, the deck. That was the word I was looking for, where the blades were. They took the deck off of it. It's a little bit jacked up, and you'll sometimes hear them just.
Yeah, because all you
Hell
really
yeah,
gotta do,
brother.
all you really got to do is change a couple of pulleys, and it can do a lot more things. So
Get something more than a 3 horsepower motor.
yes. Oh, you just wait, sir, until I get to this morning's tale of an adventure.
Oh.
So there's been a lot of, nothing and then occasionally like a blurb here and there.
Mhm.
One guy offered me an AR-15, and I was like, give me a parts list. He was real vague about a parts list, so I started asking about key components. And so basically he was offering me a $600 rifle. And I was like, man, I'm going to have to pass. Unless you're willing to throw in money for boot, which boot means extra.
Yes.
And some people don't know.
For the ladies.
When I first saw it, I didn't know what boot meant.
For those that
For
didn't
the
grow up-
uninitiated.
For those that
I would
didn't
like
grow
this
up
in a
flea market.
Timberland.
Yes. So I turned him down, and that was fine. fast forward to this morning. I wake up to 4 messages from 4 people. One was, "Hey, I got a zero turn," and I was like, "Next." One was $800, and I'm like, "Nah, dude, you got to come up more than that." He goes, "Okay, $1,000," and I was like, "Look," because at this point my price had dropped to 1,500, and in my head I was like, at the bare minimum I can do 1,200 because that's what I need. That'll help me out. I'm not telling these people that, but
Right. That's where your math in your head.
exactly. And he's like, "Well, what's your bottom dollar?" And my response to "what's your bottom dollar" is, "I can't buy it and sell it to.
Yeah, I mean
Make me an offer."
That's the most disrespectful way to. Well, what's the least
Yes.
you'll take for
Yeah,
this
especially
thing?
that's your first interaction. So then he goes, "Well, all I have monetarily is $1,000 because I got to put gas in my car." I'm like, "Okay, well, what do you have to trade for boot?" He goes, "I've got a PS3." I was like, "Homie, we're up to PS5. That's 2 less PSs."
And those aren't even
Also-
brand new anymore.
Exactly. And also, I PC game, so I need 0 PSs. And he goes, "Okay, how about $1,000 cash and a Dell all-in-one desktop from 6 years ago?" And I'm like, "Why do you keep throwing trash electronics at me?"
Maybe he knew who you were.
And I
He knew
said,
of the
I said,
collective.
"No."
Like, this does seem some things that are vaguely you themed. Like I could see you saying yes on
Absolutely.
some of these
Hold
things,
on.
but not in like
Not at this moment
Yeah,
when
not
I'm
in this
trying to
moment.
transform stuff into cash.
If this was just you on one of your side quests of dredging the internet
Look,
to see what treasures
if-
it has,
if
I
I-
could see you doing something with
Yeah,
it.
If I
absolutely.
was sitting pretty and I just wanted rid of shit, I'll entertain weird and randomness just for the sake of it. I mean, for God's sake, I bought a chick's toenail off Facebook, which never came.
That causes me discord.
It is. However, I was like, "Nah, man, that's not going to work." I said, "I'll make it easy for you. If it goes boom, I'll consider that as boot." Well, I had a 38 special and I sold it a couple weeks ago to somebody. But my dad buys and sells and trades them. If you're looking for one in particular, or no, if you're looking to sell one, I can do that. Or my dad does all this trading. He's got over 400 of them. If you're looking for something in particular, I could hook you up with them and you can buy it from them. I'm like, "No, none of that. None of that."
I'm looking for money.
Yes, I said, "Man, I really just want the money." I was like, I was just willing to offer trade just to get some money,
Yes.
And he goes, "Okay, how about an 8 horsepower go-kart?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" And I went, "Man, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to pass. It looks like we can't make a deal." "Well, I'm sorry I wasted your time, man." I'm like, "Nah, dude, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You have a good rest of your day." And then he goes, "Well, I'm kind of glad you didn't sell it to me because I was going to pull out the motor and put a go-kart engine in it."
Out of a perfectly good motorcycle,
I'm like, "You're going to take
A functioning
a functioning motorcycle, a motorcycle that will function perfectly with very minimal work and very minimal money, and you're going to make it the shittiest thing that won't even be able to pull itself down the driveway for no reason."
I don't know. He could have put a certain CC motor in there from a go-kart and
He said a 12 horsepower Briggs and Stratton.
yeah, that's made to move because a go kart is usually just like a thing of sheet metal and some tubing.
Yes.
A motorcycle is all of like a lot of that.
Yeah, I think the engine that's in my motorcycle makes 212 horsepower, give or take. I could be a little off, but so much more than 12.
So did anybody else get back to you with any kind of actual
Well, a
monetary-
guy did show up and offer me actual American currency today.
Okay. And
So it may be sold. He said he'll have the money tomorrow. We'll see.
that's hopeful at
Yeah,
least.
because he also drove all the way from Murfreesboro, so he seems committed. Why he didn't just come with money in a trailer, I don't
I
know.
don't know. That always is weird.
Yeah, because I assumed since he was driving, over an hour to get to my house, that he would have showed up with a trailer, because they even said, "Hey, man, you're going to want a trailer. You can't just ride it home."
At the same time, if he can go ahead of time and scope the place out and scope the situation out, he could feel more comfortable actually bringing a trailer for the purchase,
Possibly.
as opposed to like I'm
Possibly.
going to show up ready to
Yeah.
purchase this vehicle at this unknown location, and now I've got a gun pointed at me, no trailer, and
Right. I mean, maybe. Well, he also brought his like 5-year-old girl child
That's a
with
shield.
him. I didn't. She was in the car. I didn't even see till he was getting ready to leave. And
He
I was
wasn't
talking
that
to my
scared then.
niece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but he was like, "Yeah, I want it, man." He's like, "I'll wire you the money tomorrow."
Wire you the money?
Yeah, I ended up giving him my PayPal, or not my PayPal, my Cash App, because he goes, "Well, do you have a bank like my bank here?" And I was like, "No."
He wanted you to use Zelle or something?
Well, no, he was willing to go to an ATM, but I'm like, "Why didn't you do that before you came?"
Yeah, and also like an ATM, they're gonna charge you like $2, guys.
Also,
Well, he's
what-
also not going to get the amount of money to pay me out of an ATM.
Oh,
you
yeah,
go to
yeah.
a bank.
Yeah.
But he, as long as he's a man of his word, it'll be sold tomorrow. But my ad's still up. I just changed it to pending. So that's been Tiny's adventures in Marketplace today.
Well, I'm glad.
Last few
I'm
days.
glad that you had some adventures in Marketplace.
yeah.
Because I don't have to.
Marketplace is awful. I've tried to sell things on there. I tried to sell some Magic the Gathering cards, and I literally put down, "I don't know what these are worth. Make me an offer." And people are like, "How much do you want for it?" I'm like, "I don't know. Just throw some dollar amount at me. I'll probably say yes."
You see, I'm going to get on there and I'm going to probably sell my guitar amplifier.
Good luck,
Yeah.
Scooter.
Well, I'm going to be one of those guys because of the price firm kind of deals. Because
Yeah.
I already know what I would get paid if I go to one of the local guitar stores.
Is this your only guitar amplifier?
I have two.
Okay, so this is your spare.
No, this is my main one.
I mean, you're keeping one. That's my point.
Yeah, I'm keeping one, but this is my main one.
I wanted to play guitar one day.
I don't really need.
You don't need a show amp. You need a house amp.
I would like to just get a little tiny one because the
Yeah,
one that
a
I would
house
like,
amp.
the one I'd like is a little Fender house amp. It's if you wanted to take it to a show, it has an aux out. You can just put it into a main system, just like mine, except the thing mine weighs I think 35 pounds altogether.
It's
And-
not bad.
And, well, it really ain't compared to the old PVs and stuff. The way those things used to weigh. Every church has a small a 212 PV that rolls around on caster wheels, and it's always 7 million pounds. Every
Oh,
church has one.
Bro, I still have my Hartkey bass amp at the house. That sucker's like 75,000 pounds.
Yeah, it depends on what size it is too, because heart keys are always relative.
It's like this tall, this wide.
But anyway, the one that I want is like a $169 little tiny amp. It's got all the modeling stuff on it. It's really cool. It's got
100 and what?
160 something bucks.
No, what was 160 what?
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
I was angling for the.
yeah, I forget buttons unless I'm thinking about buttons and hovering over buttons.
Dang it.
But I know how much they sell for new, and roughly right now they sell around $500 new. Okay, take $100 off because it's not new. You got $400. Well, what are they selling for on Reverb? Okay, on Reverb they're selling for about $350 to $400. Okay, cool. The guitar stores here in town will offer you 50% of what the average price is on it.
They got to always double their money.
So and they're not like shysters about it or anything. Like they're point blank into your face about it. He's like, they'll tell you like, hey, we're gonna look up and see what the average retail is on it, and then we're gonna be able to pay you 40% of it is actually less than half.
That's ridiculous. And I understand they got overhead and but that.
So,
No, just
but
no.
I was offered $170 in store trade in.
Oh my god!
So I would have just literally been trading my big amp for a small amp.
Why wouldn't they just offer you the average in store credit?
Because they couldn't sell it for that.
Well, no, in store credit, because you obviously if they're only going to give you 40%, then that means that most of the things in there they're only getting it at a 40% of their main price. So if they gave you the retail price to spend in the retail establishment, they're not out that money, and you feel like you've won.
But they could get more money if they do it the other way.
Yes.
I know, but that also means that not many people will sell it to you.
But
Well,
they're looking for the people who are just like, I don't know, man. I just
Gotta
want to
get-
get rid of it.
I just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With me, I just want to get rid of it, but for some money and enough money to buy that new amp.
Yeah, it's like I can understand when to get rid of something, but I don't want to be completely bent over a barrel and shown all 50 states. You know what I'm saying?
it's for the people that are like, I got gifted a bunch of this stuff, or I was clearing out a storage unit and I found a bunch of guitar stuff. I don't
I
know
found
what
P.
it's
Paul's
worth.
guitar ramp.
I just want to get rid of it, and then they're gonna give you enough for it to where it makes you feel like you didn't get completely fucked, and then make triple the profit on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable.
It's just business.
It's
I mean,
just
that's every
business,
store you go to.
But
It's
I'm
like
gonna
video games.
end up probably delving into the marketplace just because I don't want to put it on. I don't want to put it on Reverb. Just because I don't want to get into specs on it with people because people on Reverb really love specs. I don't know lots of specs. I just use the amp a lot, and I know how to.
Yeah.
I know
This is what it says.
I know
on the
how to
thing.
make it make sounds.
So.
Also, you know what's under here? All the Dugga-Duggas.
What?
The Dugga-Duggas.
The Dugga-Duggas.
Gather round, you mates of mine, for tales of nerds and lore. Three best friends on a podcast line with laughs and chats galore. From comics bright to movies grand and games we love to play. We'll sail the seas of fandom land in our own nerdy way. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine. From wizards bold to galaxies far, we dive into each quest. With theories wild and memes that spar, we're surely blessed, no jest. We'll chat of heroes, foes, and plots, and all the trends that shine. With every laugh, we'll tie the knots in our nerdy design. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine.
Hi everyone, I'm Austin Shazam, Toonami Faithful, Pfeiffer.
I'm Otto, the upgraded Cockdale.
And I'm Tiny, the son of Brock Sampson.
And we are Nerded Through the Grapevine, the podcast where three best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. And today we are coming at you talking about something that I think all of us have actually ingested and taken part in at one point. It's
Hamburgers.
no, but also that would be great. Let's find out who has the best burger in town.
Mm.
I think it's Adult Swim off of the Cartoon Network.
Oh, I thought you meant like when you're at Echo Valley and they go, "Hey, Adult Swim," and so for 10 minutes I got to get out of the pool.
Yep, that was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite times as a lifeguard because, as a lifeguard in the
Why does that exist? You as a lifeguardman.
Adult Swim exists literally to give everybody a fucking break.
Yeah, because at Adult Swim, it's assumed like, hey, you should be able to swim yourself. Like, if something happens, we're not going to be right here to catch you. Like,
And
you need to be able to do it yourself.
And I'm talking like when I was a
Gotcha.
lifeguard, and now this is a sidebar, folks, because Adult Swim on Cartoon Network wasn't necessarily the same as Adult Swim is for the purposes that Adult Swim is in a swimming pool. Adult Swim in a swimming pool was the point to where I saw parents get so aggravated with me that they wanted to fight me whenever I made their kids get out of the pool too.
Right.
they're like, well, no, they're just right here next to me in the pool. I said, they're going to be there until you stop paying attention, and then they're not going to be there anymore.
Yeah. Also, I've really got a shit.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I'm on a lifeguard rotation. I'm sitting out here in the middle of the baking damn sun. I want to go and take a shit in an equally hot and sweaty bathroom, mind you. The lifeguard bathroom had no ventilation. It did not. It had no ventilation, no fanning system in there. So it was just 7 million degrees, and you're sweating even harder on the shitter than you were whenever you were out there on the lifeguard stand. You never know if you were fully clean because it was always slick when you're wiping.
Now, was you able to like take a dip to cool off?
Oh, like
when you was lifeguarding? No, like jump in the pool.
Jump in the pool.
I would on the way to the lifeguard stand.
Okay.
Every time. Like if I got too overheated, I would just go down, step, plop, up, out, stand.
Yeah. Because I know some places they're not allowed to do that.
Well, I was the director, so it really wouldn't matter.
Got you.
Yeah, I've seen a couple where like they'll just go like if they're going across the pool, they'll like take turns and like dive across and go cover it.
You know, I don't miss being the aquatics director because now that I'm old and more curmudgeon-y, I'm a lot less flexible as I was, both physically and just figuratively. Because I would see people do stuff like lifeguards. I was a grown-ass man when I was the director, and I was having to schedule teenagers.
Gross.
And teenagers, they mean well, but when they are distracted, they are so distracted.
Yeah, they're useless whenever they're distracted.
So we had this one lifeguard who was up on the stand, and we had a little boy walking up the high dive. Not supposed to happen. Little boys don't supposed to use the high dive unless they're like excellent swimmers and they've passed our course. So, there was a course. I taught.
Of course.
I taught courses.
Of course.
So this lifeguard, she's sitting on the lifeguard stand, and it's a private party that they had booked at the place that I was the aquatics director for, and I was actually there that night just to oversee everything because I knew the folks, and I had some clerical work that I had to take care of because I was also part of the job, and I, of course, hated to do that, so I waited till the last minute, so I was there at night.
As you do.
As I do. So I'm watching through the office window out at the pool just because, of course, I'm watching the pool because that's what you do. You watch the pool. I see this little boy walking up the high dive, and he's got water wings on.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. That's
No.
bad.
Meanwhile, next to the lifeguard stand with the teenage girl sitting on it, there's a young teenage boy.
Oh, no, he's gone. He's on another planet. He doesn't exist right there.
Yeah.
So this teenage boy is talking to the teenage lifeguard, and they're
So by little boy, are we talking like 5 to 6, maybe?
3.
Oh, that's even worse.
Like,
What?
why is he?
Well, how did he climb the ladder?
I don't know. So I'm inside the building looking outside through an office window, and I have to go through 3 doors just to get to the pavilion to where the swimming pool is. So I see the little boy going up the stairs. I see the girl and the guy standing there talking to each other. Teenage boy, teenage girl, eyes locked, talking. Can tell she's not lifeguarding.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's a boy walking up the high dive.
Oh,
So
my God.
3-year-old boy.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
So I see him. By the time I get out to the pavilion, he is on the edge of the high dive. And I say, "Everybody move!" And he jumps off the high dive. And I am in the water by the time that boy is in the water. And I am out of the water by the time he realizes that his water wings are both gone.
Oh, my God.
And everybody was like, "How did you do that?" And I'm just sitting on the side of the pool, just
Soaking wet in street clothes and shoes.
soaking wet in street clothes and shoes.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm breathing it out. And I say, "There are no children allowed on the high dive when you need flotation devices to swim. Thanks, guys. Just make sure you're watching your kids a little bit better." And I look over at the lifeguard, just dead in the eyes.
Oh, my God.
And I'm not saying this to the parents. I'm not saying this to her. I'm saying this to the parents. I'm saying just make sure you keep an eye on your children. And then I just lock eyes with her. And then she's like almost in tears. So I didn't have to take corrective measures. She done knew.
She done knew she fucked up.
Yeah.
And also, in my 20s, I was a fairly action figure-esque build, and that was a real superhero moment.
Looked like a swollen Dane Cook.
I did.
Like Dane Cook that ate a lot of country ham one morning for breakfast.
Yeah, no, that
I
was.
don't mean that derogatory.
No, that's fine. That was.
It was accurate.
That was
accurate.
Oh, I'm trying to remember which steroid it was that caused that. Hold on. Hold no. I can remember. I can remember it was the one that increased your red blood cell count to increase the oxygen flow to your muscles. Oh, frick! I don't know where all that went. Well, anyway, that was my story about why Adult Swim is a good thing, because a lot of times you'll have a overwhelming crowding of children. Everybody's stressed. Everybody's screaming in the pool. You know, you can't keep it going. You have to have a break and a momentary lapse in who you got to watch.
Makes sense.
And that's when lifeguards would take an overall break. Nobody was allowed in the pool without being an adult, because you were there of your own risk.
And Adult Swim on Cartoon Network is when they just showed the cartoons that had the naughty words in it.
Exactly, for the adults.
Adult Swim launched in September of 2001. It was an original head programmer.
You know, we needed it at the time with how rough that time was for everybody. September of 2001.
You know,
we really needed some laughs as a country.
they didn't have any. Wait, was that
I
9 days
thought it
later?
come around way before that.
No, 2001. It was.
What did it get? What date did it happen? Because I
no,
know,
no, September 2nd, 2001 was when Adult Swim.
Oh, so
originally aired.
they had a couple of
They
times.
predated the sadness.
Oh, they
by
had
9 days.
They had a little bit of the before time.
A little bit of the before time. Because I can remember Adult Swim being like the little plug promos and stuff that they would have would always be like, all right, all you kids out of the pool. And then it'd have all the feet kicking around and stuff inside of the swimming pool, and Adult Swim would pop over. That was, but it was a late night uncensored classic cartoon short bit that they did at first. That was also followed by another thing called Toonami Midnight Run.
Oh yeah, Toonami.
Toonami was where anime boys got introduced to anime most of the time.
It's where you got to see a random episode of a random anime, and then you get to just keep watching it, kind of figure it out eventually, and not know the actual plot until you're in your you're in your teenagers, and you give your family computer all of the malware to find out. Oh, so that's how Dragon Ball started.
Yep.
And, oh my God, there's so much of it.
Because you could never get. That's the problem with the syndicated television
I
shows.
mean, that was where I saw Bleach. I just didn't know what it was on.
Oh, on Toonami?
Yeah. Well, see, I didn't know that's what it was called. I just knew I had cable TV up until the point that I was about 11 or 12. Then we shifted over to antenna. So, didn't get that. However, I knew that there was a time that I watched that it was like, I have to sneak. I don't want them to know that I'm watching.
Yeah.
And then I was like, the Screamy Boy stuff.
That's
Funny cartoon.
Except for this one, which was Bleach. And I'm like, this one I actually kind of like.
Screaming comes in later.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's more sword action and stuff. Where
yeah, that was what I liked about it, because like there's some cool swords. Like the one dude that's got like the bandage on it. And he's like,
Dragon Ball Z was the epitome of battle cry anime. Like next time on Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. You're telling me there's a Super Saiyan 3 now? Yeah, that's
power level 7,000.
Oh God.
the actual voice actor, I think his name's Sean Schimmel, that played Goku, blacked out doing a Goku scream.
Wait, so he actually did those?
Yeah, no, those are real. No, he actually trained in metal vocals to be able to do.
Oh my
screams.
God! I thought they would just loop it after a while.
No, he like the Super Saiyan 3 scream that they recorded.
Oh
like
my
he
God.
passed out.
Oh
He
my
held-
God! He actually had his chi came in line.
Yeah, he held that. He held that for like 45 seconds, a minute, something like that. Like
Dude,
the
oh
dude
my
is a supremely talented voice actor.
Yeah,
But
that's some shit.
Adult Swim, though,
Right from the Lungusi.
let's see. Adult Swim, their original bumpers were shown in between the shows, and they featured footage of elderly people swimming in public pools, eating and exercising, and other pool-related activities. It would show signs all around the pool saying potential violence, warning, strong language in use, caution, sexual innuendo, Caution, limited animation. No diving, no kids. Warning, adult situations. So it was one of those things like I can remember watching Adult Swim whenever I was like 12 and it was just coming on.
It was your first like exposure to like, oh, there's cartoons for that
Well-
aren't for kids.
Well, my uncle tried to I almost got in trouble because I would watch it at my house, and then I went over to my grandmother's house, and my uncle was basically watching me because he lived with my grandparents, and I was turned on Adult Swim, and my cousin Cody, who's a few years younger than me, was in there watching it with me, and something didn't sit right with it with my uncle, and he like got mad about me letting his kid watch this kind of stuff. And I was like, there's really nothing bad going on. They just said ass.
Oh my gosh, that's how. Like, I remember my parents had a similar freak out when my sister let me watch Viva La Bam on MTV one time.
That one I understand.
They were like,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't even like a bad one. They were
No,
just
it's
like,
total. How many times did Bam Margera completely disregard his
No,
parents,
this
disrespect his father, and just start smacking the piss out of
Like
him?
his father couldn't even take a shit.
Yeah,
Poor Phil.
that
had
one I stand by.
post-traumatic shit disorder.
the episode let me watch wasn't even doing that. They were doing something with the Demolition Derby, and I thought it was cool as fuck. And then see the thing is though I was just like, okay, I got to find times it's on TV because I knew how to operate the fucking TV guide.
Right.
I could search shit. I would sit there and play with the remote. I could search a show, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch it when you're not here.
Yep. You got to be careful with the remotes though,
Now,
because
Why?
there was a time when Tiny was a young man, about 12 to 13.
did you kill another turtle with it?
No, we're not talking about Franklin. You know how you get to like channel number 2, and then you go down again, and then it goes to the music channels.
Yeah.
So then you skip the music channels.
Oh no.
And you know what those channels are.
Yeah, the adult ones that have the
Yes.
fun titles.
Some of that brown chicken, brown cow.
Yes. So I didn't know what those were.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
I click it because it was a very innocuous kind of title sounding to me at the time.
What was it called?
It was something along the lines of like Throbbing Hood. It was very one of those.
You know what?
style titles.
To a child,
it was a lot more mundane than that.
I guess I could understand how that.
Yes, we're talking. I'm 12. Okay, like I'm just now getting to the point that I think girls are pretty. So I didn't understand wordplay, much less that style wordplay. So I click it, and I'm like, I've never seen this pop up before, and I click it again. Because then I just rented a $24.99 American porno on my 60
That's real Adult
television.
Swim.
Yeah.
That's not
That's not Adult Swim.
Yeah.
That's Adult Party.
That's not playing with the concept of
Hold
adults
on.
only just for the fun of it. That's literally
While my sister was in the kitchen making dinner for me because she was babysitting me for the weekend.
Oh my god.
And I'm making the same noises because I'm trying to make it go away. And she comes out. Honestly, she wasn't mad at all because she saw that I was freaking out. I was like, I don't know what I did.
What
And I'm
is this?
crying. I don't know what I clicked on.
Oh my gosh.
I thought
Throbbing
it was superheroes.
Throbbing Hood, Men Are Tight. It was a homoerotic movie.
No, Throbbing Hood is not that style because that's a real title of one.
Oh,
It had Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, I was about to be like, wait, did you know that? Like, because I knew that was a real one. I just didn't know the full title.
no, that would have been a funny spinoff then.
But see, I remember Adult Swim as a lot of Robot Chicken and King of the Hill because I
Robot
remember.
Chicken. King of the Hill was on Adult Swim.
Yes. So the way that
King of the Hill was actually saved by Adult Swim.
the way
Didn't
that
realize that.
my generation Adult Swim happened, I'd be watching Cartoon Network, and then about 8:00 would hit, and then I would it'd change over to Adult Swim with the cool black bumpers and the ding,
Yep.
ding, and it'd be like the black screen with the white text.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
then,
hold on. The bing. It was a weird memory unlock. with
Yeah.
those noises. Go on, continue.
But you'd get 2 episodes of King of the Hill, sometimes a Family Guy or an American Dad, and then you get Robot Chicken.
American Dad is the better Family Guy
Yes, American Dad is good. Family Guy is
after
garbage.
a certain season.
I think that Family Guy earlier seasons are stronger than American Dad, and I think maybe up until like season
Yeah.
10 or 10 or 12 of Family Guy.
Yeah, it's the latter half
Well,
that
because-
American Dad slaughters.
Family Guy is just make funny joke for 22 minutes, and sometimes they're not good jokes. But
Sometimes they're just not even funny.
American Dad at least has a plot to it. But
Exactly.
I remember watching Robot Chicken, and if you don't know what Robot Chicken is, it is basically like they would have these little dolls and do stop motion.
Yeah, it's like Action League now, but for adults.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
actually, you probably too young for action.
I remember a little bit because it would come on
The
Boomerang.
Flesh. He's super strong and super naked.
Melty with the power to
Melt.
Adult Swim has a huge list of celebrity guests. And if you've got some free time, check us out on your social media accounts. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are on TikTok. If you're on Instagram and Facebook, you can get us at Nerd Grapevine. Real easy on that. If you're on TikTok, we've got it under my account on there, just because I'm the one who's mostly on there doom scrolling, and I might as well have the videos posted of our friends gathering together with our snippets of fun that we can have together. We got a few fun ones on there. Hercules Plate's my favorite one so far, just because you get on there, you'll find out. Austin.shazam.phi on TikTok.
And check us out on Patreon. You can support the cause and get some extra content. $5 will get you uncut audio, record button to record button, and $10 will get you uncut video and extra videos like The Smoothening, Nerds Day Out, and Nerds Do Discs. Be sure to check out the link in the description, give us some dollars, and get some extra juice.
Find us on Discord as well. There's going to be a QR code right here. Pa-pa. Check that out. Scan it with your phone. It'll take you right to us. It'll take you to what we like to refer to as the Backyard Bonanza. That's the party where we all hang out, and it's a real good time. There's memes and all kinds of stuff. We're on there live, uncut, uncensored, and irrevocably circumcised.
We're also on YouTube. If you want to check us out on there, get on YouTube, type in Nerd It Through the Grapevine, and watch our videos. Robot Chicken does. Robot Chicken's got a bunch of people on there. Like Mila Kunis, or Mila Kunis, however you say. Mila Kunis, is that it?
Mila Kunis.
It's Khalifa.
No. Mila Kunis.
I know. Just kidding.
That was... It's from one of those downstep movies.
Yeah. One of those sub 2 movies.
I think I seen her in something to do with
It's on channel 99899. I don't know. I saw that Mia Kunis. She was on that 70s show, right?
Yeah, she was on that 70s show, but I also seen her in that movie that had an Indian woman dressed in a ceremonial garb, but only from the neck up.
Oh, God. We were talking about Adult Swim, right?
We're there. God, what was I talking about with that, though? Because, Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
She was a voice of one of my favorite things ever on Robot Chicken. It's the Gummy Bear song. And it's the Gummy Bear song is this just literally her just skipping along as a little pink gummy bear. I'm so happy because I'm a gummy bear. And she steps in a bear
That was
trap.
her?
Yeah, and she steps in a bear trap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was so good.
And then she rips her leg off. And no, she eats her leg off. She's like, I'm delicious. And then she starts walking again, and she starts hopping along, and it steps in another bear trap.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites, and I don't know why. It just has always stuck with my brain.
And that was always the cool thing with Robot Chicken is, like, you'd have some, like, it'd be like a sketch show where, like, you'd have little cuts with it. And some of them would be, like, 1 or 2 seconds of just something, like, you can tell the writer's like, random jumble of words. And they made it, and it was funny, like, popcorn fight vending machine or something like that. And it'd just be some weird-ass shit. And then they'd, like, play on movies. And then other times, you'd get to ones where it was, like, it'd be like 5-10 minutes long of the same thing, and you're like invested in what's going on, and then it ends with a dick joke.
The programs on Adult Swim though are pretty vast. Like there is a list upon
my
a list
favorite
upon a
was
list.
The Venture Brothers.
Oh, that was a
That
good
That was
one.
my absolute favorite.
I think
Adult
that's
Swim
over
show.
now.
It is. They only had 7 seasons in the last season or 2.
I always like Aqua Teen Hunger
greatest.
Force.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm,
Meet Sula.
But I mean, come on. But Venture Brothers, bro, because it's superheroes, it's villains, but there's like some weird bureaucracy in place. Like there's a guild of calamitous intent. And then, of course, you got Brock Sampson. He's a goddamn American treasure, son. You know, just like the Uber, just you can't fight the man because you're just gonna die.
Like he is the real life
Yeah.
Terminator.
Oh yeah, like dude, he drives the Dodge Charger. He's got the blonde mullet.
He's literally
Yeah.
the like if there's a picture of masculinity of like just what the ideal of like if you put all of your like character sliders to like max on like dude bro masculine, that's him.
Yeah, and all he uses is a knife. Like there's so many guns being used
Because
at
that's the
him and
most
against
badass
him.
way.
That's
and
just,
he's just like,
he just
"Nah,
shows up, and it doesn't even have to be like a place surrounded in water. He just sometimes just shows up after swimming with a knife in his mouth.
Yeah,
he's just there.
exactly. And
How did you get here in the middle of this landlocked
Well, like-
place? Oh, I swam through the pipes up through the toilet
Yeah.
with a knife in my mouth.
exactly, one of my
300
favorite
pounds of muscle.
one of my favorite of the Brock shenanigans. They were after him to kill him, and so he's swimming through the ocean, or no, he's getting drugged through the ocean behind a sea-doo. Right, he grabs a shark, uses the shark's mouth to cut the rope, shaves his hair off with the shark's mouth, puts his shirt on it and the mullet on it. So when the guy ends up stringing it up, it's the shark dressed like Brock, and then he comes out of nowhere with his knife and just murks the guy. It's like, come on, man, like ultimate masculinity.
Yeah, I remember another one. It was a Metalocalypse.
Metalocalypse
And
was good.
It was just the most gore, like
Mermaider.
like just
Mermaider.
blind, like blending up people. I remember watching because that would come on if I could catch the tail end of Adult Swim at like 7, 8 a.m. before like Cartoon Network came back on. I could watch like 2 or 3 episodes of Metalocalypse.
It's a hard one to say.
It is.
Metalocalypse is hard. I can't remember a lot of their names off
Wasn't
there.
it like
There's-
one guy that did all the music? Like Death Clock was like a one
there's
man
an actual band. Like it's an actual band.
I
that
thought it
goes
was
on.
like a one guy, like a one man band.
I don't know. It may be
There might be two.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's way less people than you think it would be.
right.
There were a lot of shows on there. I mean, I'm talking a lot of shows.
Oh yeah, because they brought some back, and then there's so many originals that were just like 6 episodes of I don't know, man. This guy said he wanted to make a TV show.
Because back in September of 2001, they didn't have an extensive list of anything. It was just a small block of stuff where they had Space Ghost Coast to Coast,
Oh hell
Home
yeah.
Movies, The Brack Show, C Lab 2021, and Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
See, I have vague memories of these. 'Cause I was just old enough to be sneaking onto the television.
Did you get the thing I sent you? The purple rhino.
Oh, I was gonna
Oh,
say my phone's up there.
No, purple hippo off of Harvey Birdman. He always
I only saw a couple of them because to me that was like the Dilbert of the Sunday morning comics style show. So I just never got into it.
Then week number 2 of them being on, September 2nd, they had those. September 9th, they came out with Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
And Aqua Teen Hunger Force, I love me some Meatwad.
No, Frylock, man.
Frylock's awesome, but he's the most down-to-earth, like, normal-ass character on the show.
Yeah, well, also,
Right.
Even though he's a
Shake.
I mean, I like all of them.
Shake
but
Zilla. Look at that thing and tell me there's a god.
what was the neighbor's name?
Hold on.
Carl.
Hold on. Yeah, Carl.
Oh, Carl.
Look at that thing and tell me there's a god.
Man, you just going around hurting my feelings, man. MCP pants. He just wants to listen to music and because he loves candy, man. You don't understand. He listens to MCP pants. I love candy. I can turn into an igloo.
Oh my god, I
Maybe a
love.
hot dog.
Or Squidbillies.
I love me some Squidbillies.
Yeah, we all know. We
I
can
love me
tell.
some Squidbillies.
Yep.
I love it. Early Kyler, for like early and rusty. Like in my head, I've got conversations of generational conversations within the state of Tennessee happening when I'm watching them on TV.
Now, son, don't touch the trim.
I didn't watch Squidbillies because it was too much like watching my family
I was
members.
about to say you live Squidbillies.
Yeah, I lived Squidbillies. I didn't watch it. I literally didn't like the show because it was my family on the TV.
It's like, this is supposed to be funny. That was Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
No,
Where's the joke here?
no,
Yeah, it's
early.
like, look, I seen my Uncle John more than once laying in the yard with a boombox that he got from God knows where, cranked to 11, drunk off his ass, saying the aliens were coming for him. You can't tell me that exact scene wasn't in at least 3 Squidbillies episodes.
Squidbillies has permanently scarred a couple parts of my brain to where I can remember interactions on it, like the sheriff going to an explosion that happened up on the farm property. That's where his sister was running a meth lab, and the meth lab exploded, and the sheriff comes up there, and all the hogs have gotten the meth seeped into their drinking water, so they're all
Oh God!
and you know,
So like Coke Bear, but hogs and meth.
and it said, and sheriff, of course, had a voice kind of like this, said, "Now, Early, it seems to me that these hogs are strung out on methamphetamine." And Early's response,
Now, Sheriff, how can a hog, which ain't got no job, afford to pay damn money for drugs?
It's solid logic, but just the wrong logic.
Now, damn you, woman, I would never come over there to your house if you was the last damn woman on the face of this earth. Now, if you happen to be over there at your house later on, would you care if I swung by?
"Oh, Early, you ain't getting none of my front butt tonight."
I feel like we've all seen an Early at the Cookville Walmart once or twice.
Oh yeah, because I once witnessed I'm not going to make fun of the Christian band that I saw, but everybody in this room should know of the band that I'm speaking of. And he had a
Country Christian Outlaw Blues.
Thank you. Well, I that reminds me of an episode where Early decided he would get into gospel music, and
Wives, submit to your husbands, lest your organs be devoured by the sharp, jagged tooth of the beast from down below.
They say I can't remember. By the coat of Hammurabi. I can't remember what all he said, but he gets into some deep fire and brimstone shit because he's talking about the serpent from hell, and he said, and he'll take out your eyeballs and show them to your body, which is now just a skeleton, 'cause he also ate the flesh. The Squidbillies had a lot of good stuff in it. There's a guy in there named Dan Halen.
No relation.
His name is Dan Halen, and I remember there's the rapture happening, and everybody's like getting raised up in the pillars of light and everything, and Dan Halen is seeing all this happen, and he's like on this super tall tower that he had built to try to get to heaven, and he's like, "Well, this isn't working. There's only one solution. I turn my life over to Jesus Christ. Praise him!" And he jumps. He does not get lifted. You gotta mean it. So it had a lot of good memories for me with freaking Squidbillies. Also, the reason that the song stopped whenever they were singing the song was because Early got pissed off at Rusty. And he said,
Now play that note you was playing there. You know, the one. The pitched one. Yeah, that note right there. That's the one that's pissing me off.
he said, that note don't belong on a bass guitar. He said, well, it's supposed to be for a trumpet, but you use that as an oil funnel, Daddy.
But that's because the trumpet don't belong in a damn band.
It's just redneck nonsensory. Like I love
that makes too much sense because
Yeah.
it like you can imagine family members having that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we also can't forget about shows such as like the one we have the painting of America's ass.
Yes.
Assy McGee.
Assy McGee. Oh my God, he was a hardened detective.
Yeah, but
I can't believe this is going on.
an ass with legs.
And he was smoking. He would
smoking
smoke.
with the asshole.
They also had live action shows on.
Oh yeah, Loiter Squad.
Yes,
What was the hospital one with the clown doctor?
the one, Children's Hospital.
Yes.
That's the worst fucking bit. That's brain rot. That is brain rot.
Well, I
like
mean-
Eric Andre's show.
Oh,
brain rot.
They set out to. He literally said, "I want to make the worst talk show possible." and it's literally just
Him and Hannibal Buress just
Yep.
being idiots.
I don't know who the actor is, but he's the guy that played the Violator in Hot Tub Time Machine.
The Violator?
That's what they called him in the Hot Tub.
Oh, I was like John Leguizamo?
I don't know. No. Wrong Violator.
I was
Uh,
thinking about a
I
different
can't-
The one that was in The Office that played Daryl in The Office.
No, not him. No, it's the one at the beginning of the Hot Tub Time Machine where he's sitting in the garage.
Oh,
and he's listening to.
did
Motley
he also
Crue.
play
His character's name is Lou.
not Woody Harrelson, but
No.
like in that same genre of like.
I mean, he's got a
my
very
God.
similar Woody Harrelson style face.
Yeah, Dollar General Woody Harrelson. I know who you're
Yeah.
talking about. I just can't remember his name.
Yeah, no clue. Great actor. No idea what his name is.
The Toonami block that introduced me to a couple animes that nobody really talks about. One of them is called Big O, and it's a giant mech anime to where the guy's like Bruce Wayne and he summons Big O on like train tracks underneath the city, and there's giant robot fights and stuff and monsters and shit. You'd probably enjoy that.
I may check it out. I do love me some big mech fighty boys.
Cowboy Bebop, I love.
Oh my God, Cowboy Bebop is a classic.
I don't even know what Cowboy Bebop is.
It is. It's a space western.
Yeah, it's literally
Is it
just
like an anime?
yes,
Yeah.
but it has some kick-ass music. It's not like an anime. It's more like an adult anime.
It's set to like jazz improv.
yes,
A lot of the
You mean
action
something
scenes.
that I might actually be like, this is okay.
check out that one and maybe Samurai Champloo as well because they're made by the same people. If you like Cowboy Bebop, check out Samurai Champloo.
And Spike, even though they're living in the year 2071, and it's like 50 years after this humongous like global catastrophe on Earth that's caused everybody to move out and into outer lying planets because Earth is an unlivable husk now. Basically, he fights like Bruce Lee, like be like water.
He is like an old school cowboy of like he's a bounty hunter that goes around chasing bounties and doesn't use guns. He fights with his hands, does all this like ninja shit. He has a sidekick.
Oh, he uses guns though.
Well, yeah, but like he's usually like
He's
more
mostly fighting. If
he's more like
using
a punchy
guns-
boy.
If he's going to be shooting a gun, that's because he's trying to get from point A to point B, and he's laying down suppressive fire to keep people from shooting him.
Right, and then he has a sidekick, or I wouldn't say he's a sidekick. His the captain of the ship. What's his name?
Nope.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
a weird name.
I can't remember his name, but he has like a big robot arm.
I'll tell you
Pretty
here in
cool.
a second.
I recommend, and it's all set to pretty
Jet.
good music. Jet, that's what it is, and it's kind of Monster of the Weeky, where each episode, like, there's some through lines, but most of it is just here's what we're doing this week,
Gotcha.
and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Adult Swim had a lot of different shows on there at one point because they acquire different shows from places that have died and they bring it back to play on there. Here's a good little list, and not all these you'll know, but if you do know, just give me a yip. Let's see. Former acquired programming. These are the ones that were previously on the Adult Swim time block. Astro Boy, Baby Blues, Blood Plus, Blue Gender, Bob Clampett Show, Cartoon Planet, Case Closed, Clerks, the animated series,
Never seen it, but I knew of its existence.
The Cleveland Show,
Yeah,
Party Over Here, Code Geass, you wouldn't watch that, Death Note, Durarara. There's a lot of anime on here. The Gary Coleman Show,
Oh, God.
what you talking about, Willis? Gigantor, God, the Devil, and Bob.
I remember that one vaguely.
Look Around You, Mighty Boosh,
Oh, yeah, the Mighty Boosh.
Mr. T.
That was a British show.
It was, and Noel was Old Greg.
Yep.
Noel. The best part about the Great British Bake Off, probably Noel.
When you started that, my brain went, the best part of waking up.
Is Noel not being in my
cocaine
cup?
your butt.
That would be scary if I looked into my copy.
you ever
coffee
drink
cup
Bailey's in a shoe?
and I just see
Has
Noel,
that been
no
in
makeup.
before?
No, if it was Old Greg, I'd find it humorous. If it was just Noel, I might find it scary.
I cannot.
He
walk
does look like a
past-
scary man.
I cannot walk past a bottle of Bailey's and not quote Old Greg.
Yep.
You ever drank Bailey's from a shoe before? I can't not do that.
I call this one Bailey's. I call this one Bailey's. And I call this one as close as you can get to Bailey's without getting your eyes wet. Saved by the Bell was on there. Rocky and Bullwinkle. The Popeye Show. The PJs. Pee-wee's Playhouse. Tenchi Muyo for a good anime throwback there. That's probably before Otto's time. There are a lot of different shows on there, as well as live action shows like
Between two ferns.
Tim and Eric,
Yep.
fat guys.
Excuse me, it's Tim and Eric. Awesome, show,
great job. You're correct.
Put some
Full
respect on that
Full
name.
title it. Check it out with Steve Brule.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Check it out. Oh god, Prepits come from marinara.
Oh my god, that's
That's such a ridiculous show.
your pretty face is going to hell.
Yep.
Eagle Heart.
Yep.
NTSF SD SUV.
Yeah.
The Heart She Holler. Loiter Squad.
Yep.
The Eric Andre Show. Your Hole.
Yep.
News Readers. Hot Package. Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories.
Yep.
Decker. Black Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Jack and Triumph Show. Neon Joe. Werewolf Hunter. $1 Million Extreme presents World Peace. Dreamcore LLC. The Cry of Man. William Stream. Joe Para talks with you.
It's harder for me to tell where these start and end because, like,
Yeah.
they could just keep going on. Because, like, that's the thing with Adult Swim is they just greenlit anything. They're like,
Mostly for millennials. that's our podcast. Tropical Cocktails. Beef House. 3 Busy Debras. What? That's a show. Three Busy Debras.
That was probably one of them 2 or 3 episode shows.
I was wondering if Beef House and 3 Easy Debras were the same show or if that was 2 different
It
shows.
could be 2 different seasons of the same show.
There's so much stuff on there.
Yeah, because they would just, like, people would come to them and be like, hey, I think I have a cool idea for something. And they could just pop on. And then a lot of, like, Space Ghost Coast to Coast was actually, they would take cells from old cartoons and cut them together into something new. They would, like, kit bash these shows together to where they wouldn't make new things. They would use old things and, like, cut them together. And they would just do stuff like that. Cause,
Kind of like the Power
Oh,
Rangers.
don't
They-
forget about Mr. Pickles
oh, Mr. Pickles or Opal.
or the Boondocks.
Oh, the
I've been sitting
Boondocks.
here just wanting to say the Boondocks for the last, 10 minutes.
The Boondocks was the shit.
Or a Black Dynamite.
I never watched Black Dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Black Dynamite was
Was it good?
kick-ass. Yes,
Dude.
it was the Boondocks, but more anime stylized.
See, I really like the Boondocks because they did weird shit within it. Like Uncle Ruckus was like a black white supremacist.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Fucking Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus, dude, you can't say none of us are qualified to quote
Yeah,
a
we
single
cannot-
line ever said by Uncle Ruckus.
I don't
on
feel
that.
like we can quote
played
any of
a
them.
D&D character based on Uncle Ruckus.
Anytime you want to talk like Uncle Ruckus.
I feel like none of us can quote that show at all.
No, I
really.
can just do some grumblies and some growlies, and that's about it.
I love is it Rilo? Riley and Huey.
Riley and Hugh.
Riley and Huey. Well, I don't know Rilo. Grandpa Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
He is a master of the belt whip technique. He will whip your ass so magnificently that you will be both afraid and impressed.
Well, and that was the cool thing with the Boondocks was they would have like it would be like a cartoon show, and then have like an anime fight scene.
Yep.
Where it's like Riley knew kung fu or something, or Huey, the shorter kid with the afro, like knew how to fight. It'd break into this like crazy fight scene where they're like flipping around and punching and shit, and
Yeah.
then go back to they're at a cookout just talking.
Yeah. I watched one that was a fight that was in the middle of a store between Grandpa Freeman and a toddler. Because the toddler was throwing a fit and the mom was like pleading with the toddler, and Grandpa's just walking by and he's trying not to say anything, and you could tell he's trying not to say anything, and then he's walking by and all of a sudden the baby's like throwing a fit and then says a word, and then he just stops. Now, young lady, would you mind if I take care of this problem for you? She's like, oh, what do you think you can do? I just don't know what to do. He goes, oh, I have a pretty good damn idea. And that kid, shut up. I don't approve of child abuse.
There's a difference between abuse and discipline.
But he was belt whipping discipline into the child, and all of a sudden the child shut the fuck up. So the memorable quote from Boondocks. There was an episode to where Grandpa Freeman.
Are we gonna have them bleep?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't say any of those words. This is actually a clean for me to say Boondocks
I
clip.
was just wanting to verify.
And it's relatable. I love how well written it is. Grandpa Freeman fell in love with a prostitute. and they had a pimp played by Cat Williams who was her
As
pimp,
he
A
does.
pimp needs.
a pimp named Slickback.
Say the whole thing.
And,
You put some respect on that name.
Oh, you care if I just call you Slickback?
Hell no, it's a pimp named Slickback.
So there was that. There was the interaction with number one, Cat Williams being in the episode playing a pimp named Slickback, and I love that. That character is basically just
It's Cat Williams.
Hell no, I'm a pimp named Slickback.
so.
Became a recurring character. He's meant to be a one-off.
But
Is it a character when Cat just appears as himself?
but you've got Uncle Ruckus actually trying to talk sense into Mr. Freeman. There, like, does she run real fast in high heels, faster than any woman you've seen move in them? Does she eat more than anybody can comprehensively eat in an amount of time, but so quickly that you've never seen? She a hoe.
G.O.
And so basically, they get him and this prostitute get home from eating a wonderful dinner out, and he never takes the boys out for this like sit down restaurant meals and stuff. And he takes the woman to Red Lobster.
Oh, they're eating fancy.
Who played Uncle Freeman?
He's the same.
He was the old guy from Friday.
Yes, he was the same one that
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but man,
he was in Black Jesus. He played the homeless guy on the street from Black Jesus.
dude, he had a great cooking show on YouTube. I'm here to tell you.
I can't remember his name. I can look it up.
What's in your jelly jar?
But he gets home and he's like, well, Grandpa, what we gonna have to eat? He's like, oh no, well, I ain't worried about it too much. Me and Miss, I forget what her name is. I think it's Mariah or something like that. Me and Miss Mariah done had Red Lobster.
You took the hoe to Red Lobster? That hoe been eating Cheddar Bay biscuits and we sitting over here hungry? You took that hoe to Red Lobster?
I can't remember if it's Riley or Huey, but like the one with the dreads was screaming about it, screaming that
You took that hoe to Red Lobster?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was a great one.
and Samuel L. Jackson played a Bob Ross style character, and whenever he would like no it was he would like. No, he wouldn't. He didn't play the Bob Ross style character. There was another person that played the Bob Ross style character, had a puffy afro and all the quiet talking. He was more or less just a white guy who was just a gangster.
Well, but because Samuel L. Jackson actually helped make that show get made. Like, he was one of the people that was like, no, I want you to make a U.S. anime, and it's going to be the Boondocks.
Yeah, didn't he? What was? I feel like he played a character that was like a black dude that was like a vampire hunter in some show that also appeared in that. Like he was like, I only hunt Blackulas, but I do not remember.
Robert Jedediah Freeman was voiced by John Witherspoon.
Yes, thank you, John Witherspoon. Rest in peace.
Yes. And then you've got Riley, who was actually voiced by Regina King. Riley was voiced by the same person that Huey is voiced by, Regina King. She did the same voice. So, and let's see. And I'm trying to find out who Uncle Ruckus was. Oh, they don't have Uncle Ruckus on here. He's just a character. He's not a main focus. I can't get over. I'm going to have to probably end up watching the Boondocks here a little bit later.
I mean, I've got it like locked and loaded on my pooter.
I haven't watched the Boondocks in so long.
I was literally watching it the other day.
But just a pimp named Slickback. When's the last time you sat and thought about a pimp named Slickback?
I think about a pimp named Slickback every day of my life.
Honestly, every now and then that quote does pop up in the ADHD like rotation.
Could I just call you Slickback?
No, it's a pimp named Slickback.
Because he doesn't say hell no. He says nah N-word.
Yeah,
We can't say it.
No.
It is not for us to say like that. Let Cat do it. I'll call him up and have him say it so I won't get in trouble for it. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to say those words. Those are words that don't cross my mouth hole.
No.
Samurai Champloo!
Oh yeah, I literally said that one because it was the same one that they made Cowboy Bebop,
Shower products.
It does.
right? And because it's a similar thing to Cowboy Bebop, but instead of like it's
set to hip hop.
Ronin, it's set to hip hop instead of the jazz stuff. It's Edo period Japan, and it's two Ronin and a Fu, which is like someone they're traveling with, going like through Edo period Japan.
Somebody that's obsessed with the Edo period of Japan, would they be referred to as an Edophile?
I don't know.
Let's not
I don't like treading that
I
water.
don't want to say that word.
But
It's too close to another word.
they also
It's a legitimate question.
they to change the subject. The people that made both of those shows also made another show called Space Dandy, which is very similar to Cowboy Bebop in the future kind of thing. But all three of those are made by the same animation house.
I was thinking of Uncle Grandpa
No,
when you said Space Dandy, and I'm like, that's a vastly different animation
no,
style.
no. Uncle Grandpa is like
Uncle
I am like
Grandpa can go straight back to fucking hell where it came
I'm
from.
like 3 years too old to get Uncle Grandpa. My brain formed just enough to be like, I'm not on enough drugs, and my brain isn't dumb enough to find this entertaining. This is just like,
Isn't Uncle Grandpa actually marketed for children?
Yeah, it was on normal. It was on normal Adult
Yeah,
Swim.
I
mean, a
watched
normal
one
Cartoon Network.
episode with a realistic flying tiger that flew through the air by farting a rainbow out.
yeah,
of its ass.
that is just Uncle Grandpa.
Yeah, I'm like, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen.
I'm not baked enough to be able to just turn my
I don't
brain
know
off.
if I could get baked enough to enjoy that.
I don't know if I take the right kind of drugs to do that. That may be more of the mushroom kind than the herbal kind.
Peyote.
Peyote?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
It's a drug.
that's an awfully sickening drug to be recommending to people.
I'm not recommending anything. I'm not a doctor. Nor have I played one on TV. I just know some drug names.
Oh, I about passed out. Adult Swim is still going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still is active.
It's honestly one thing I miss about cable television. If I can just have like an Adult Swim channel on like HBO Max where they put in the bumpers and stuff, I would pay extra.
That's what it's missing from HBO Max is you can watch your Adult Swim shows but without them being in an order with the bumpers. Like it just
and I just like turning it on and being exposed to something random sometimes.
well they'll give you that.
Well, that was the fun of it. Is like you didn't know what was coming on. You just turned it on and be like, I don't know, man. Like I'm just having this on in the background and like watching every now and then. Up late playing Minecraft on my computer. You know.
Yep. But yeah, that's Adult Swim.
I miss it honestly. If I could wish one thing from HBO Max, I would pay extra for this feature. Turn on a like Adult Swim, like just streaming part of it, where you just put the bumpers in, or even like during the show, put the bumpers in the commercial breaks. I know they have them in there.
Now
Like, put 'em up.
they have a guy on YouTube that does retro rewinds. I think his name is JD. Is it JD's?
There's a couple of them.
But he puts in like television commercials from the 90s along with.
Oh, I've seen some of these.
So that kind of style with them making those compilations would be fantastic. Like you could even put in like some old school commercials.
I'm sure he
and stuff in
probably
there.
has one.
Like honestly, I hate like this is a very boomer take, and I may just be glorifying the old days, but I kind of miss cable TV for the fact of just turning something on and not having to pick what I want to watch. Sometimes I just want the TV on.
Yes. How come streaming services can't have a randomizer button?
Netflix tried that for a little
Yeah,
bit.
but no, they didn't do it right.
No, it would randomize through everything. Hey, are you sure you don't want this?
Yeah, I want like a TV channel. Like I want to know where my cartoons are, and then I have a selection of cartoons. Whenever I was a kid,
Well, Pluto TV is that for you.
I don't
Pluto
want.
TV. That's what I put on at the shop a lot of times. It's going to be pickers and pawns.
Yeah, it's what them old men, or the old
Yeah.
couchmen put on, and it makes me want to throw hands
No,
immediately.
they put on the dumbass anger management Charlie Sheen show.
They do both.
I put it on pickers and pawn because it is fine to hear background droning between people making conversation over whether or not they want to buy this for what price. We just did that at the beginning of this episode. That's great. I can enjoy that. What I can't enjoy is anger management. The show that's 2.5 Men minus the comedy.
Yeah. Plus a person with the face of a Muppet.
That girl
Yes,
looks
dude.
like the Muppet in the band. The one that
Yeah, I'm like, she's supposed to be like the hot one.
You know,
And I'm
the
sitting there
Muppet
and I'm
from the
going,
band.
I don't understand. I'm not saying she's hideous, but Her face gives me uncanny valley.
Well, once you get lip injections,
It's
and
not
face
even
fillers,
just the lips. It's not the lips. It's more like the mouth size and the eye size.
Is it because she
It's
reminds
not
you of?
injections for
It's
the-
because she
the-
kind of reminds you of like a big mouth Billy Bass. Take me to the river.
I don't know, but
You know, I still have mine. I need to get it up. Should I bring in my big mouth Billy Bass and we
Does
can?
it still work?
I think so.
Will it still sing me? Take me to the river.
It has that one and don't worry, be happy. I just gotta dig out to see if the D batteries didn't corrode away in it.
Well, if they didn't,
there is a way you can hack them to where he'll sing whatever you want.
I've seen that.
Yes.
That would be fantastic to have.
Should we hook it up to the Alexa and the grape sack?
Oh, you can do that too.
That's true.
That'd be amazing.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week with more of our shenanigans and some stories for you. If you don't mind, tell people about us. Let's get some more people listening.
And
Watching.
Tiny,
Yeah.
if a big mouth Billy Bass came up and gave you 3 grapes, what would you do?
It's not appropriate for me to say what I would do.
What's that even supposed to mean?
Are we going to end on that?
Tune in next week.
Perfect.
So here's to friends and phantoms bright in every joyous life.